Hello everyone, I'm Bill Liberis. I'm the Content Director for the Mobile Enterprise 360 community. And I'm very happy today to be joined by Chris Fleck, who is Vice President of Mobility Solutions and Alliances at Citrix. Chris, thank you very much for being my guest here today.
Thank you, Bill.
It's almost mind-numbing, even to those of us who have been around for decades in this industry, how fast mobility has evolved in the last few years. Yet, still today, Chris, we don't see a lot of sharing of really sensitive enterprise data with many of the mobile users out there. Why is that?
Well, there's policies that are in effect that these companies have based on government regulations, HIPAA, or financial obligations. They've got IP concerns. I think the situation is actually that the policies don't allow it, but in fact, in lots of cases, employees are doing it anyway because they're going out and finding the easiest way to get their job done. And in a lot of cases, IT hasn't provided the tools that are at least easy to use, and sometimes they don't provide anything, or they provide tools that are too cumbersome. And employees can rationalize it based on doing what they have to do to get the job done. And I think that's really more of the situation versus there's lots of employees and they can't get their data anymore. I think they're finding ways to get it.
Yeah, that's not necessarily a good thing longer term, is it?
No, it's not. It certainly leaves a lot of organizations up with some risk that they have to deal with, and I think that really is the top priority for a lot of the IT organizations that I talk to.
Sure. Yeah. So with how quickly things are evolving here, and with this situation in mind, if you peer out no more than 12 months, 18 months, which almost seems like a lifetime of what's going on in mobility, what do you see occurring there with respect to the mobile worker and maybe how IT and remote workers are interrelating?
Well, I think devices are going to continue to explode and take different shapes. If you look out certainly a year, 2, 3, we're going to see things like the iWatch. We're going to see Google Glass. We're going to see, the front wave of the early adopters wanting to use those new devices. We're going to see other devices like the even like the Samsung Galaxy, the S4, where not only is it a phone, but it becomes a Nirvana phone. You can plug it into a large display, use a full-size keyboard and mouse. So we'll see more of that. We'll see smart displays that are running Android, so they'll be big 20-plus inch displays, but they'll be running a mobile operating system. So there's going to be a real convergence of small devices, big devices, different operating systems, and a lot of that is going to be driven by consumers as well, and consumer appeal. And I think, again, that's going to give IT, new sets of challenges to deal with the policies that they have to try to administer, and keep their employees productive and happy without trying to set up too many roadblocks.
Yeah, no mean feat for sure. And what about looking ahead? When we've done several IDG surveys here, and we ask, well, where's your attention and therefore your dollars going in increasing amounts? And the two areas, hands down, that come up study after study are mobility and cloud, cloud mobility, mobility and cloud. What can you say about the intertwining of these two and the impact on the organization of what might happen with cloud and mobility together?
Right. Well, I think in most cases, in fact, most new apps, there's a lot, more. There's more new apps that are being created as mobile apps versus any kind of desktop app nowadays. And in most cases, they're connecting to a cloud service on the back end. Sometimes it's behind a firewall, but more and more it's a SaaS kind of environment. And there's going to be more and more of that. For the most part, today, those are all isolated applications. So an ISV comes up with a good idea, builds an app, and they can create a good UI on a mobile phone that connects to a back-end service. But I think there's opportunity, and again, lots of the folks we talk to, they want to be able to manage all those disparate kind of scenarios of what's the mobile applications they want to provide to their employees, how to deal with billing and getting it into their hands, as well as getting out of their hands, perhaps, when they leave the organization and so forth. So I think there's a lot of opportunity and something that we're looking at closely and doing something about, where you can have a number of these disparate applications and services, but still provide a single point of IT delivering the different apps and services, employees subscribing to these apps that are provisioned for them and or made available for them optionally. And again, you need to be able to secure the back end. You need to be able to do authentication. You don't want a simple or rather a different sign-on for every one of those applications. So there's still a lot of work to do to make that a seamless experience for users.
Pretty wild ride ahead for IT then, isn't it?
Oh yeah, that's right.
Well, Chris Fleck, Vice President of Mobility Solutions and Alliances at Citrix, thank you very much for being my guest here today. Great information.
Thank you.
And I'm Bill Laveris from IDG saying thank you very much for joining me today here as well.